Hello, everyone. This is Marie LaBrasse. I'm filling in for John Rawlings until he can get in his hotel room and get set up. And we're a little bit late coming on. He will be live on the radio in a few minutes, but we wanted to have Tammy Wilkie from the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. That's who John's guest is today. And Tammy, tell us a little bit about what you do at that sheriff's office and why it's so important for people out there to really know what you are doing.
Thanks, Marie. I appreciate the time and effort you guys put through on this. I have been working for the sheriff for about 5 years now. I was hired on as a community affairs specialist. That entailed working in the Project Lifesaver department and searching for missing and endangered people. Then we expanded upon that. We do DNA scent kits. We have a bloodhound called Copper that does absolutely phenomenal work. And we have a scent kit provided to certain people. McDonald's gave us some money. And then we are able to use those to track down people and bring them home safely. We also have another program that we encompassed in. It's called Take Me Home. And that aids us in finding people as well. I like to joke around and say it's pre-registering for disaster. We have a picture, a photograph, and information about a person. So if we have to go tracking them or find them, the DNA scent kit plus the Take Me Home program aids us, gives us an easy way of getting people home. And then another part of my job that they've offered for me to do is for the senior outreach program. They just recently added that into our tool belt. And it is where we call different seniors once a week. They're over 60. They're alone. They don't have anybody checking on them. We check on them. We call them up. How you doing? Everything good? Okay. We'll talk to you next week. We did have a situation where we called somebody and he didn't answer. So we sent the deputy out to the house and he had fallen. So it was aiding him and getting him medical care properly, quickly, which was a good thing. It was a good thing. It helped out. That's a senior outreach program. That's part of what I do. My buddy Chris Hall is my coworker. He does that with me as well. So, and then we have so much stuff that we're doing. The next thing that's coming up, the big thing that we're excited about is Cops and Goblins. Cops and Goblins didn't go off last year because of the way the world was. But this year we're back at the stadium. The kids are coming Halloween Day. They're dressing up in costume. We're going to come up with a lot of candy. So we're going to have to come up with some help from the community getting some candy. So Cops and Goblins is coming up as well. So we have a bunch of stuff that we're doing that's very exciting that we didn't get to do last year that we're getting to do this year. Hi, John.
Hey, how are you doing, Tammy?
Good.
Awesome. So I'm going to ask you the importance of the community connection with you guys is really a good thing. But how was it through COVID not having that community community connections throughout the year? And how excited are you for what's coming up now to reinvigorate the community into what you guys are doing?
Well, for me personally, I worked from home. I had my laptop set up. I had my whole house was an office. I was able to make calls to the community, answer questions. So nobody really knew that I wasn't making these senior outreach calls from my home. We were able to kind of mask that a little bit. If we had some community and we have these relationships with our community, that's crucial. I mean, when I have a situation or a problem or someone in the community says, I need through different resources, Ocean, H2U with Faucet, all we have to do is call them and say, hey, we need something or other. Or we'll say to our deputies, if anybody has some time off, we need somebody to do this at a homeowner's house. And usually they'll step up to the 10th degree. They are there for our community. So our deputies in our community, it stopped enough, but it still was underlying that you didn't see it, but it was still ongoing. And the community partnership we had with McDonald's, they paid for those DNA scent kits. They weren't really massively expensive, but it was able for me to say to someone, you have a need. The DNA scent kits that we have to offer you, they're free. Why do you turn down free? I don't turn down free. So we have to make sure that there are people out there in need And if there is a need that they can't afford a small amount for this DNA scent kit, that doesn't stop us from helping and securing them. Because let's face it makes our job easier if we're finding somebody in that the copper, the DNA scent kit, that he has got this bloodhound nose. He and his partner DFC Steven Sella just got awarded master trainer, because they've done so many searches just in the last year that we've had the dog. So it's the partnership between our community, people out there, that were able to make this happen. And it's slowed down, but we're getting ready to ramp it back up again. No problem.
So the excitement about getting started again is really good. How is the reception into the community again, where you guys are out there and being seen again? I think that's a real critical part for you guys in building. I even think the younger generation, seeing the relationship building that's going on and trying to mend some fences along the way, from youthful behavior to adult behavior. Those are really important things to wrap your hands around. And I know the community itself, I know we've suffered as a society with COVID, because
Right.
we've had strained relationships. Do you see an excitement level now out of parents and other people that are seeing you out in the public and getting things going and kind of feeling back to normal again?
I definitely see it. I was out today for the first time in a very long time. I had a couple errands to run, and I ran into somebody that I was thinking about. One of our deputies was in CVS, and we ran in and talked about a promotion that we're going to do. And then I went to the bank and was talking to her about helping us out for a fundraising event that we're going to do for the Alzheimer's Walk. And it was like, oh my God, I am back. I am back. The community's there. Whatever you need, Tammy, we will support you. We'll give you Beef O'Brady's in Punta Gorda. Chris, I love him to death. We sat down with him and we said, we're going to do a fundraiser. We're going to do Cops and Goblins. We're going to do this. And he says, whatever you need, I'm there. Just let me know the date and the time. And I get that all the time, which I got it before. My support and my community, our community partners, we are so fortunate to live in Charlotte County, because Charlotte County is a different animal when you go out to Tampa or Miami. I was in Orlando at a training seminar, and I'm a civilian employee. I am not a cop. I am not. But I was attending a convention, and the negativity was felt by me in Orlando. And I am an Orlando girl. I'm a Mickey Mouse girl. I got my Mickey Mouse earrings on, Yeah. But it was different in the big city. In Charlotte County, you don't get that. You just get people who speak to you and say hi and thank you for what you do. We're lucky. We're really, really lucky that we have this community. We have community partnerships. But for the most part, everybody that you see around town is pleasant and appreciative. And we appreciate them.
Well, and you mentioned Beef O'Brady's as one of your sponsors. Do you have some other major players that you'd like to throw some kudos out to for being really active?
Well, I'll tell you what, the McDonald's is paying for the DNA scent kits. Chick-fil-A, anytime you need anything from him, what do you need? I'll be there. I'll bring, just name it. And we get every bank, we get from every hospital, both the big hospitals. If you need anything, I need support. The Cops and Goblins that's coming up in October. It's on Sunday, October the 31st, and it's from, gosh, I'm going to screw this up, but I think it's from 5 to 7. And so we're trying to get community partnerships to come out and candy and donate candy so we can interact with the kids. We bring out the Bearcat. We bring out the helicopter. It lands out there. We have a video game trailer. The county comes out with all kind of big equipment. Kids love that big equipment to climb on. We have so much going on that day for the Cops and Goblins that we didn't get to do last year that we're going to really, really knock it out this year. And the kids are talking to the cops. They're talking to the SWAT. They're making sure that they are getting their pictures taken. And we always have support out there. My buddy Farrah Fishman from the health department, they can't give out candy. She comes out with little erasers or balloons or something else that the health department will support other than rotting out their teeth and candy, But the place fills up for Cops and Goblins. I think last year that we did it, there were over 3,000 kids. 3,000 kids, and their parents are bringing them, feeling comfortable that I can take my kids someplace and get candy, but also get into a good atmosphere. They can wear their little costumes and be appreciated, pictures taken. We have a DJ that's coming. We have bounce houses. We have face painting. The canines usually will do a demonstration. So the Cops and Goblins shows all of the community support, all the people that come out, and they hand out candy right and left. And the kids feel safe and engaged as well. So that one, I don't even know how many community partners that we have to thank, but we have a list a mile long in Chris's office. I should have gotten the list for you, because the community partners, you name it, every kind of business wants to be part of this and wants to show the community that they believe in them.
Well, we're going to do another show. I promised Chris, and I thank Sarah and Chris for chiming in there. And I love you guys too. But we're going to do another show. And I'm confident in what Chris said. I know, Tammy, we're in great hands with your information. I can tell the passion that you have for what you do.
Just a little.
Just a tad, and I love it. Anytime that you can get this high of energy level over your position, there's going to be a lot of success to follow. And you got a really good partner with Chris.
He's amazing.
He is, and the beauty is that the community isn't suffering; the community is gaining because of what you're trying to do, and creating an environment for kids. I think is the building block to changing the community itself as a whole. And you guys have had that structure in place for many years. So,
yes.
I think it's the most important part of the community outreach is reaching the younger generation always. I was part of the younger generation at one point, and I still remember my local police officers in our village who chased us at night playing tag with their spotlight. So there's a lot of different things that we could all remember about police officers. We live in a society now that you get one bad apple and it gets spotlighted all over the nation. And I keep trying to tell people there's a bad apple in everything in life. There's a bad apple in accounting. There's a bad apple in nursing. There's bad apples everywhere in life. It doesn't matter where you go. We tend to highlight, though, the bad apple. We never talk about the greatness of community outreach programs and the impact that it has, because I'm sure that you can talk about some people that you've had in contact with for several years now with some of these outreach programs that may have even become police officers.
We had a couple of the Citizens Police Academies that I've done, and they come in and they've learned about what we do behind the scenes in different ones, and then they've applied to the police academy. And we have one gentleman that's a road detective, and he was when I first came here, and he came through. My program, the Citizens Police Academy, is just generic. It's fun, showing you behind the scenes of what we do here at the sheriff's office. You get a tour of communications. You get different tours of the courthouse or the jail, and you get to see if this is the job for you and how the community works. And then if you like it, then you can go ahead and you can get applied on. And sometimes in the sheriff's office, we have different times for recruiting purposes. We will sponsor somebody through the academy in a cost saving measure for them, just if they are the right fit for the category. And at this point, we're always hiring, because it's just a turnaround in the world now. So police officers are at a premium. So we definitely look through and try to help the people who want to be part of this program. But for the most part, we show them behind the scenes. And then if they like it, great. If not, the Citizens Police Academy was another reason that I was hired. It's another job that I was hired to do. And the captain just walked in my office a few minutes ago and he said, Tammy, do you still love your job? And I'm like, yes, sir. And I do. And that makes a difference. Like, what's the same when you have a job that you love and you're not working every day because you love what you do. And that's definitely the way I feel about my job and the people that I work with. And, you know, Sheriff Pramell does a fabulous job picking the right people for the right jobs, for sure.
And you know, leadership is key to success a lot of times.
Yes.
And having the right leader at the top, it kind of filters down, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does. And he constantly tells the new hires, you know, integrity, professionalism, and trust is what we're all about. And if you see one of your coworkers, you know, maybe slipping a little bit, reach out, give them a hand, help them up. You know, be there to be their guiding force, and we help each other out for sure. It's one of the best places I ever worked for, and I used to own my own business, and I like this job even better than that job. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
Where is the location again for some people who may or may not know where the Goblins,
Cops and Goblins is going to be held again.
Where is the location for that?
Well, the Ray Spring Training, I guess it is or isn't, I'm not sure, but that's where the park is. But it's a huge facility. We've got the parking. We're able to spread out with the kids. And like I said, the helicopter lands out there, so they get to watch the helicopter land. We have a Bearcat that's a big machine that they drive through. Our trailer is a video trailer we bring out to the kids. And the county has been really nice. Smokey the Bear comes out usually. He brings stuff for that. The fire department, they bring an ambulance, they bring a fire truck. So the fire truck, they let the kids climb all over and get their picture taken as well. A lot of photo ops, definitely a lot of photo ops. And they just have a fun. They just get to be kids. You know, that's the big thing for us is they want to feel safe. The parents want to feel safe. It's not like when I was a kid and you'd walk through the neighborhood in the parks. It's different now. And so we want to create that environment that they feel like they can get up in their little princess outfits and their Harry Potter outfits, and they feel fun and comfortable. And the parents dress up too a lot of times. They'll get dressed up. Otherwise, they don't get any candy if they're not going to get dressed up either. So, you know, we've got strict rules about that.
Well, and think about this too. If you're a parent, where else can you take your kid on trick or treat to have a great assortment of candy and giveaways, along with a bounce house and other events, along with some music, to make the evening, like you said, very safe. And I think a really controlled environment for fun.
It's free. Again, that's my favorite word, free. We like the ability to be able to have everybody brought together and then leave with smiles on their faces.
Right. Well, Cops and Goblins are the address is 2300 Eljo Bean Road, and that's an easy one. And we're going to talk about this again probably in about a month and a half to remind everybody. So we're going to have you back on the show, and hopefully Chris too. And
definitely,
you know,
this is his baby. Chris's baby is Cops and Goblins.
Yep. And I don't know if Chris told you, but we have, I know you guys have a great rapport with another one of my guests that are on the show each month, and that's Care out of Florida. And so can you talk a little bit? I want to draw the two together because I think the importance of what Care does for the community and what you guys do jointly with Care, there's a lot of value there that people don't get to hear a lot about.
Well, that's one of the things with Chris is that's the first place I ever met him. I attended a Care presentation and was blown away by his ability to speak to people about a touchy subject. Care's, you know, the fact that there's the abuse and it's not right, and how you protect yourself, and how you, my favorite part was when he would tell you how you can take a situation as just a mom. I'm just a mom some days, and how I take a situation and turn it around and break things up, and it would be a Care moment. And I was so proud of those. I would be out and about in public, and you'd see a situation that made you uncomfortable, CARE presentation that Chris did at the time taught me how to diffuse the situation but not danger myself. And so our representation with CARE, and they have office space here at the sheriff's office, so we work closely with them for the domestic violence and the abuse part of it. We also have a spot at the what am I trying to say? The mall, the town center mall office that we have is our crime prevention office, and CARE staffs it there as well. And we work closely with them. We get grant money that we co-work with them as well to have deputies who are focused on stopping domestic violence. And Chris did an amazing job on that with that part of it, but he also never left that part of his heart that came with him. So he's very passionate about those kind of situations and works with us. And we just talk about it, just making it aware. Well, what would you do if? And that's a big part of what education. And as a civilian employee, I would love to do more with ours, even as staffing, even if our employees could do more of that, because just being able to diffuse a situation and not let it get any further. And I've had a couple of situations in my lifetime because of what Chris taught me back before I even really knew him, carried through. So CARE is a top dog around here.
It is, and the relationship you guys have with them as a partner in the community, it's pretty vital when it comes down to rape and prevention, isn't it?
It is. It's huge. I think because of the situation that, I don't think I look scary to anybody. I'm not going to break up a bar fight. But if I come up and say, oh my gosh, can you help me? I know you're in the middle of something really important, but I need directions. And they're like, huh? What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And then it just changes the situation and the dynamics. Look, there's Chris's 2 cents in and all the great community partners that we have. I knew he would help me out. It's a lot of people who are stepping up. The Wharton Smith, I think they were the first one to step up to the plate. We've got some great partners in the community, and they're knocking down our door. We're not always knocking down their door. They're saying, oh, we hear you have a need. Can we help out? What do you need? Do you need money? Do you need 2x4s? It's just anything in Charlotte County. Our people step up, our county employees, our county everybody, even the neighborhood watches that we have a lot of neighborhood watches that Trista Zimmerman works with. And when they hear that we're going to do Cops and Goblins, the neighborhood watch is saying, we'll drop off bags of candy. And we're like, okay, bring the candy. We'll store it. We'll put it out there when we need it. But even not a business, but our neighborhood watch people, we have so many people that just say, we want to be part of it. What do you want us to do? Where do you want us to be?
Do you think that Charlotte County is more active than most communities? Do you kind of feel that?
Absolutely. I've lived here since 1985. I raised my son here. We did Little League. We did baseball, basketball. We did it all. And I still run into kids, men now, that he went to school with that knew me back then. They're grown men with beards like yours, and they're like, people don't leave Charlotte County like other places. My hometown, Charlotte County. I mean, you get that feel. And boy, when you go out and about, who goes to Port Charlotte High and who goes to Charlotte High because they're in blue, they're in red. It is just, it's a place where they're proud to call home. My son went through the Hurricane Charlie at the time, so he had to go to Port Charlotte High and went there in the afternoon, and Port Charlotte went in the morning, and everything was fine. The kids made it work. So Charlotte County, I'm incredible. I can't think of any place else I'd want to be. I really can't.
It's kind of unique, isn't it?
It is. I'm very proud. I'm very proud of our county. I'm very proud of our officers and the ways that they step up. We just had a situation on Facebook that we posted a picture of 2 of our deputies doing a guy a favor, taking his flag down during Elsa. It's blowing up Facebook because they went to the house. They were asked to take the flag down. Okay, they did. They folded it with respect and put it away and stored it. And, it took 5-10 minutes out of their day to do this for that. But it just, It's a tiny little show of respect that was huge. I mean, and they do it all the time. You have pictures of them walking out and taking a turtle and walking it across the street because you gotta save the turtle. There's our flag guys. And everybody is just saying how respectful they were. They didn't just, okay, we'll just get this done. No, it was the right way to do it. And we're proud of them. We're so proud of them.
Well, I'm glad you guys are back, and I'm glad we're opening. I'm actually up in Ohio, and they're just getting the feel of being back open up here.
Yeah.
And they're still delayed on opening some pools.
I'm an Ohio girl myself,
things
and
like
this
that
is
up
where I
here.
feel to live my life.
Right now doesn't have the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I'm Columbus myself, and I just overall I think we've got a great state in Florida. I think we've got great areas. I live in Northport myself. I know that things are booming there, and Port Charlotte is on fire. It is moving in the right direction, and there's a lot of shakers and movers in the community. I have never run into a sheriff's officer that hasn't been helpful. Even on a pullover, I've watched them, and I hate to say it, but I've gotten pulled over, and the amount of I think care that they give even on the pullover.
Yeah.
They gave me a warning. Thank you very much, and I appreciated it. But it was one of those things where you kind of felt like they want to keep the neighborhood safe, but they also are wanting some rigid respect when need be. And I think we're in a time right now where with some of the negative press all over the nation on a few police officers, it affects people's thought processes on what's happening, and they apply that to the local. And we have so many great officers in our surrounding areas, let alone Port Charlotte, that it's crazy to lump everyone in together. What would you recommend people do when passing an officer at a restaurant? I tend to just say hi and thank you for what they do, because they put their lives on the line, whether we like it or not. They put their lives on the line every time they put the uniform on.
Oh, absolutely. And they appreciate if you come over and say, thank you, enjoy your meal, because they don't get a lot of time to eat, to take a breath and relax, because most of the times, most of them work 12-hour shifts and they're long days. So if they do get to sit down in a restaurant, just wave or say hi and thank you, of course, but just give them the respect that you understand that this is a very precious time to them, but they will always come and they will always speak to you for sure. Our motorcycle officers are my favorite sometimes, and they're so funny, and they look, and they have, excuse me, they have such a dry sense of humor. And so I'll see them and I'll say, hey, saw you out there making friends. And they'll laugh because they're making friends and they're educating. That's important for you to feel like, the warning that you got was an educational moment, and then respect that and don't come up with an attitude. With the Citizens Police Academy, one of the things we like to talk to the people about is if you're being pulled over, put your hands on the wheel so they see where your hands are when they're walking up behind you. Right. And I watched somebody the other day, and it wasn't even our town I was at, and the guy was walking out behind them and very cautiously, very careful to see what he's walking into. And you got to flip that. You're the one, oh man, he's ruining my day. I'm in a hurry. But he's thinking that if I can make you safer, then, okay, you're going to be late for work a little bit, but you're going to get to work. You're going to be safe. And that's the thing.
I'm glad you said it like that, because there's a story behind the pullover from the officer. And the story is that it was very educational, and it was very enlightening in the wallet. And people complain about ticket prices. All right.
Yes.
So he had a very, very subtle way of making someone realize. Now, I don't know how many times he used it, but it made me realize the value of the ticket
Yes.
in two ways. One, he let me out. I was very thankful. He finished the conversation by saying, all right, with the money that I just saved you, be safe and drive home and take your wife out to dinner. Because that's what you would be spending your money on if I didn't write you the ticket. So go take your wife to dinner, and so when you say there's an educational piece in there, there's 100% an educational piece in there that they are trying to get the information out in the best way they know how to do that. And I give a lot of kudos to how they handle their business like that, because that made an impression on me that's, I think, 4 years old now, maybe 5. So 5 years of, I'm not going to write this guy a ticket, but I'm going to make an example for him and not of him. I think it's phenomenal, because it has slowed me down as far as paying attention on the roads.
Yeah. And I know that when I watch these things on TV and they're like, well, I'm going to film you and I'm going to say this and I'm going to do that. And the attitude that you give them, being disrespectful when they're just really trying to help out. I know people don't always believe it, but for the most part, if you would just let them speak to you like a reasonable person, you're going to have the same scenario that you had and not have the attitude that the person gives you. They're trying to be respectful. They really are. They're not walking up thinking, boy, I want to really piss this guy off, excuse me. But that's not the way that they're thinking. That's not the steps that they're making as they're walking that way. They're walking that way to say, I want to make sure this person isn't somebody I'm picking up off the side of the road later on tonight. And that's
Right.
what, you give them that respect, you get that respect. That's my soapbox.
And Carrie, my wife is Carrie, so WKDW, right? Carrie always deserves dinner, and she's always going to get dinner. So and it's funny because I don't tell that story very often, because it's really nothing that you want to brag about. I got pulled over, and the minute you say that, people think you got a ticket anyway. But the way he handled that scenario, I got to say that if he's doing that on a regular basis, along with the other side of it, which is there are some situations where you can't not write a ticket. You're going to have to write the ticket.
Absolutely.
And so you've got to look at it. It's one of the hardest pills for people to swallow a lot of times, but police officers are on the road for a reason. And the reason is to keep the community safe as a whole. And we all have to work together to make our community stronger. And one of the ways is sometimes looking at ourselves and saying, maybe I got that ticket because I deserved it, versus trying to figure out a loophole that they can exploit to not take blame. And I actually think that's part of our problem with society right now is we're easily shifted to point the finger at someone else, even though we're at fault.
Preach it, brother. I get it. Yeah, I understand.
And,
the other thing that
go ahead.
The other thing we were going to push kind of hard today was our senior outreach program. That's been going on almost about a year now. And when we have seniors who are lonely and don't have family that's checking on them, or don't have family, period, we check on them. And that's something that they can call me at my office and Chris, and we will register them. They will get a phone call once a week from us saying, how you doing? Everything okay? And if it's not, then we talk about what things we can suggest. The one lady wasn't feeling well and she thought maybe she had COVID. I said, well, you know what? We have these people we call at 911, and they will come to the house and they will pick you up and they will take you to the hospital. And she's like, really? And I'm like, yes, ma'am. And they did, and she had COVID. But sometimes you need somebody else to bounce these ideas off of. And that's what she needed, that little push, saying, well, let's get those people and drive you to the hospital. And she needed it. So senior outreach program, call Chris or I, and we can talk to more people about who qualifies and how that works. Again, my favorite word, free.
Yep. Well, and you talk about these different types of programs. A lot of listeners today, they may not have a need, but if the listeners actually start applying it and get outside and start talking to some of their neighbors that haven't been out for a year, a lot of livelihoods have changed over the last year and a half with COVID, with another year of distancing from others. There are some seniors out there that were distancing from others long before COVID hit, and this was an easy acclimation. But the problem is now, where are they? A year and a half later. And I think that value that you just talked about of being able to call and have them checked on, there's nothing better than to have that happen.
It's peace of mind.
It is. And we've been labeled God's waiting room. and knowing that, we have to, I think, knowing that we are God's waiting room, and we have the best waiting room ever, by the way. It's sort of the right thing to do for the community. Again, reaching out to the community and building relationships in the right sort of way.
It's very rewarding. I can tell you that, because there's not a call usually that goes by that doesn't thank me. Thank me for the call. Thank me for our service. Thank you, Sheriff Bill Permel. We love you. I've got so many supporters of him because this was his program. This was his mission. This is what he thought about. This is what he wanted us to do. And you just, Tammy, make it happen. Chris, make it happen. Sir, yes, sir. Yeah, that's what you do. But I'll tell you, the appreciation that this makes, the other gentleman that I was talking to, he is having some chest pains. I think you need to go to the hospital. Well, let me take a shower and let me get my dog situated, and then I'll go to the hospital. I said, okay. And he was having a heart attack. So just the fact that you make them, kind of nudge them to do the right thing, is appreciated. We don't necessarily always want to think things out by ourselves. Does this make sense? You want to say to somebody, and that's part of what this does. We try to bring a little common sense into this, because they don't have people. They don't have family, or the family's not nearby. So it's really something Chris and I are very proud of doing. It's an important part of the job as well. So,
do you feel like sometimes that you have, and I'm going to use the word power and understand it the way I'm suggesting it. Okay. Sometimes you have the power of influence a lot more than some family members have on their family member.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes when you're talking to a stranger even, well, that's kind of an interesting thought. Let me think about that. Well, just when my son was learning how to drive, I could tell him 100 times to do something. And then when I took him to the driving school, they said the same thing. Oh, that's, it's not, that's normal. Family's normal or abnormal. I'm not sure which.
Well, and I think a lot of times we push things off to the side when it's a family member saying it, and then we get an outsider who's got resources, who's got insight, who is a different voice. Yes. And a different voice of reason sometimes makes a big difference on influence too. So if you know of anybody out there who's in need, how would they contact you?
My number is 575-5345. And if Chris is listening, pop your number up there. I don't know what his number is, but between the two of us, we will give you a call, or just call our normal 639-0013, I think is what it is. Just call the sheriff's office, ask for Tammy, ask for Chris Hall, and we'll figure something out. We'll find a way to figure out what we can do to help you as best we can.
And if you're listening on WKDW 97.5 FM, we also do this show live on Facebook, Real Talk 97.5. A lot of this information we're populating up on the screens right now, and that information is ready and easy to share on Facebook. So if you're watching the video and you're thinking of people out there in the community that need this information, please share this out there. The kids are going to love it. It's going to be a great event. I'm positive you guys are going to throw one heck of a party this year and really tee it up for 2022 and get that thing started too. So you can also listen on YouTube on WKDW 97.5 FM. So it's really great to have you on the show. I'm sorry I missed the first couple minutes, but I am so glad I got to spend time.
Oh, it was amazing. You really missed a lot by missing the first couple of minutes. We were just rocking it.
I'm absolutely positive you were. I'm going to have to watch the first part of my show back.
Yes,
so I appreciate your time, Chris. I appreciate everything you both do. Keep the Sheriff's Department sharp like always. And I look forward to talking to you guys in about a month and a half, and we'll get you back on and really push this information out and get things started for you. Thanks a lot. You're very welcome. This is John Rawlings with Tammy saying thanks and have a great day. This is John Rawlings signing off. Have a great week. Bye-bye.